Hello, I'm back. Good morning. Now we are moving to second session. Okay. Basically, we having a rough idea about machine learning and algorithm, but talking about the algorithm, which should be the core of this course, or maybe I should say should be the core of the machine learning. So based on that, I believe maybe some of you uh, have learned programs or learned codings. Okay, so for this session, we're gonna introduce you to our programming or codings. But talking about the codings, actually we have many choices here. So let me show you here. Just a minute. Okay, so for this case, we need to learn R for our language coding. Why use R for machine learning? Basically, now we have Python and R available for us to choose. Excuse me, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Basically, we have two programs available for us to use. One is Python, the other is R. Uh, Maybe some of you have learned Python. Maybe some of you have learned. Uh, but in this course, we're gonna introduce you to R. Why is that? Okay, some reasons for you, but maybe those reasons are not good enough. But you can just think about maybe in the future you can learn both language. Okay. Python is good for data science and more general programming language. That's one advantage for Python. But as an R user like me, I've been using R for many years. Of course, I'm learning Python now. So, but both languages have some advantages and disadvantages. Okay. So R is geared specifically for mathematical and statistical applications. If you use R, you can put more focus on data, but may feel restricted if they ever need to build application based on their models. Uh, that's about the R. Okay. So for example, like if you want to create app, or if you want to apply to different platforms, okay, maybe Python would be more appropriate. But R, if you want to do scientific analysis or do some research study in the future, for example, like if you want to study graduate program or PhD degrees, okay, in the future, I think R would be more useful to you. Useful to you because R has built up over 17,000 packages, okay, coming from different areas. So if you have different areas in your study, you definitely can find some package to help you to do the codings for you. Okay, so in other words, yeah, in other words, it will be more helpful to you to do more advanced studies in the future. But of course, there is no overall winner for these two programs. Okay, some like I mentioned, Python is also famous for its machine learning. It has scikit-learn packages. Similarly, R also has some package. Okay. Yeah, this is typo. R has caret and MR3 packages. So this is what we are going to use now. Okay. So based on this, we need to go over the installation of R here. Okay. So let me just skip here. Okay, so talking about the R, we need to know how to install R, but actually maybe sometimes later. I'm not sure because I'm gonna use Amazon cloud service to help us to install R, but I have contacted Amazon service, but they didn't create this service for us in time. So I will try to contact Amazon service again and try to create this cloud service for us so that we can install our server on the cloud directly. Okay, but now I can just show you how to install R in computer, in your personal computer. So if you don't have any laptop or desktop computer beside you, that will be fine. But if you have, that will be better. You can follow my instructions to install R. So first of all, let me just show you here. First of all, we have to go to our website. Okay, we just type R here. Okay, then Google for R, then you can see there's a website called R Project for Statistical Computing. So we can just click here. Okay, then you will see R Project for Statistical Computing, and you can see the latest conversion. The latest version R is 4.04. Excuse me. It's 4.04, and you can just go to the this link and you can download it directly, or you can just go to the download R here. Okay, so let's just click here, download R. And then you can see the CRAN mirrors here. You can see there's a cloud R. You can just choose the one here. I prefer to use the cloud, zero cloud here. Okay, you can go to the cloud here, and then you will see 3 versions here for Linux, for Mac, and for Windows. So if you're using Mac, you can download R for Mac, but I'm using R, so I'm download here. Okay, then you click and you'll see the base install R for the first time, and you can just download it and then install it. Okay, so first of all, you need to download first. So let's go to download, and then we download R 4.003. Okay. Yes, we talk about R 4.04. It's a pre-release version. Okay, but I suggest you both versions can be installed, no problem. But here we are using R 4.03. Okay, and you can download here. And first of all, you need to save it. Okay. Okay, after you save it, you can just execute this. Okay, then you can execute this. Yeah, you can choose the language you like, but here I'm using Chinese, so I'm using Chinese, but you can choose English, no problem. Okay. Okay. Then you can go to the next step. And then next. Okay, because I have already installed it, so it shows I have already installed the version. So I just click no. Okay, then click it. Oh. So let's finish the installation. Okay. So when you finish the installation, you will see there's icon R in your desktop. Okay. So that's the first step. So maybe we can wait for a few minutes to complete the installation. Okay. So after you complete the installation, then you will see there's R here. If we type R, let's go to the directory. Okay, so if you go to the let me show you my screen here. Okay, so after you install R, you can go to the file directory, you go to the C directory and the program files.
老师，那个有学生有一个问题，你可以稍微看一下，不知道他的问题，你看一下，谢谢。
Okay. Message 这里的。Oh. Your country screen sharing our website, not our application. 他是说不能分享，没有办法分享啊。哦，好，那我知道了，我知道了。因为我在执行安装这个 R 的时候，它跳出来的视窗没有办法看到。OK. Okay, sorry about that. Maybe I'm not sharing the R application screen here with you. So I'll do it again here. Sorry. Okay, so if you download our execution file, you can see on my screen here, this is my download file. Okay. This is R-4.0.3 window. Okay. So I execute this application here. Okay, then you can see this. Okay, so you double click this execution file and you execute it. Okay, then you will see the application is running and you are asked to choose language. You can choose any language you like, but usually we choose English. But in my case, I'm using Chinese. Okay, and then we click yes. then you are asked to read the information down here, and you can just click next step, next step. And basically, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to change anything here. Okay, you just click yes, and the can you see this? Excuse me. Can you see my screen?
Excuse me, sir. The R app? Do you mean the R app?
Yeah, our apps. Can you see here? Can you see my screen?
No, there's nothing.
Oh,
We can
okay.
only see your library.
Okay, okay. So can you see my screen showing the file system? My file
No,
directory?
no, we can only see your folders in your library.
Oh, you can just see my folders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just a minute. Let me show you my screen. I think that's the problem.哎，张老师，
哎，你说，哎，
它
请说。
它这个是安装程式的时候，它会有一个跳出的视窗，可是这个视窗好像没办法分享哎，这个分享他们看不到我这个，
哎，
因为我
你用分享内容里面，你可以勾那个啊，你用什么的？你用 PPT 吗？
不是我安装程式的时候，它会跳出一个。
可是我跟你说，你现在分享给同学的时候，你用那个分享的时候用那个桌面，
桌面哦，桌面是不是？
对，他就全部看到你的荧幕啦，哎，
哦，OK，那
对，
这样子可以看到，你现在可以看到我的视窗跳出
有啊，我刚刚其实都有看到啊，哎呀，那你再
啊，
问他没？有，你的游标在，
滑鼠这个 R4 Windows 4.0.3安装程式这个嘛，
对，哎，
看到嘛啊
有，你
，OK，
再跟同学对，问一下，应该是有，哎，你用这
OK，
个就好了，对，嘿，OK。
哦，OK， so now can you see the screen here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm running R for Windows 4.0.3. What I mean is that you just double click the R-4.0.3 and you just double click this and you would see the pop-up screen. Yeah, you can see the pop-up screen here and you don't have to change anything here. Okay, you just click next step and next step, everything is the same. But you can see here because I have already installed my file in my computer. So I just click no, but you have to just click next step until you finish the whole process of installation. Okay, basically you don't have to change anything. Yeah, you don't have to change anything. You just and then after you complete the installation, and you will see an R in R in your file directory. So now I'm going to check if you want to check if R has been installed or not. You can just go to your C directory in your computer. Okay, there's a C directory here, and you go to the program files because I'm using Windows system. You can see here we have R directory here. Okay, you can see R here, and you can just click here, and you will see a directory called R-4.0.3 has been created. Okay, so if you can see this, that means you successfully installed R in your computer. Okay, so maybe we can wait for a few minutes for students to complete the process. Okay, so if you have completed the installation, then we can move on to the next one. We'll see how we gonna go. You go to the sorry, you go to the Google again. Okay, then we have to search for RStudio. Okay, why we have to install RStudio again, and what is RStudio? Basically, RStudio is a platform for us to run R, and of course the interface of RStudio is more friendly and easily accessible for different functions provided by R. So besides that, it builds a better link with different programs. For example, like now you can also use RStudio to run many different programs like Python, C#, something like that. Okay, so and of course you can also publish your R languages to website. Okay, and you can also build your interface using RShiny to build website or build a web page, something like that. Okay, so that's why we are now using RStudio to help us to write codings in R. So if you found the RStudio, we can just click RStudio open source for professional and data. Okay, so now you can see we're gonna run the RStudio. But of course, first of all, we need to download. Okay, so we go to the product here. We go to RStudio here. Yeah, you can see there are many options here. The first one is RStudio. Okay, the second one is RServer. Let's go to the first one, RStudio. RStudio server is, yeah, it's very straightforward. If you want to install RStudio on server, of course, you should use this one. And besides that, if you want to publish your work on the web, you have to use our Shiny server. Okay, so let's click the first one, RStudio. Okay, then you can see the screen here. We have two versions of RStudio. One is for desktop, the other one is for RServer. And there are other information here, but we can just go down below here. We can just click RStudio desktop here. So we choose RStudio desktop. Okay, you can also click here, but this is to run RStudio on your desktop. Okay, we go to the button here, and of course in the following we also have many options, but since we are not using RServer, so we just download the RStudio desktop here. Okay, just click here. Okay, after you click that button, and you will see the screen like this. Download RStudio IDE. And down below we have 4 options. The left one is the one we should select. RStudio desktop is free. Okay. Basically, RStudio server is also free. Okay, but since we are using a standalone desktop computer or notebook, so we have to use desktop. Okay, so then we can just download it. And then you will see a screen like this. You have many systems to choose. If you're using Windows, then we select RStudio for Windows. If you're using Mac, you use Mac OS. You can download this one. So let's download the first one. So I'm gonna download it. Okay. Okay, so if you finish downloading, you will see a file in your download directory. We call RStudio-1.41.1103. So if you see this, then you can just click, double click and start installation. Okay, then you can just click next, next. Okay. And then you can just click installation. Okay, because I have already installed in my computer, so I'm gonna skip this one. Okay. So you can try to install it. One important thing is that if you want to install RStudio, the requirement is that you have to install R first. Okay. So just check the installation screen here. RStudio, the step one is to install R, which was completed in our previous session. And the second is to download RStudio and install it. Okay. So that's what we have here. Okay. So I'm gonna give you some time to complete the installation. So if you have questions, you can ask me directly. Okay. Or you can just post your questions on the message. Is it okay now? Okay, so if you have completed the installation, then we can move on to the RStudio. And I'm gonna show you some basic codings in R. Okay, so let me just show you RStudio. Just a minute. Okay, if you can find the RStudio in your desktop, that will be fine. Then we can create one. So, for example, like if we're using Windows, then we can just type RStudio. Okay, and then you will see the RStudio here, and then you can just click this one and using the right button. Okay, click your right button and you can paste it to your work series, or you can paste it to start series. Okay, but okay, so if we create a series, then we can just double click it. Okay, so now you can see my screen here. We are already in RStudio. Okay. Yeah, one thing is that, let me just close it first. Sometimes we need to run RStudio as a system administrative authority so that we can install some packages correctly. So if you are just clicking R, then probably you will find some problems in your installation. So just to remind you that when you open RStudio, you better start RStudio as a system administrator, system manager to run the RStudio. So if that's the case, let me just choose this one because now I'm using Chinese. But if you just right click your RStudio, then it will show you one option. Okay, so you can see my mouse here. Just a minute. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, so you can see now I'm using system. It says using system manager to run this program. Okay, because when we try to install some packages, systems will be changed accordingly. So that means we need to run this program using a system manager. Okay. Okay, so let's move on. So if that's the case, then we can just run this RStudio with System Manager. Okay. Most of you won't see this screen, but you go to, don't worry, you go to the file directory, file, okay? You see here? We have a file here. Yeah, you go to file and click it and create a new file. Okay, but here you can see there are many types of file that you can choose. Okay, we have R script, R notebook, R markdown, shiny web, C file, C sharp, etc. Okay, and of course you can even create Python script, SQL shell, etc. So this is a very good interface for you to write coding. But since we just focus on R, we can just choose R script only. So let's choose R script here. Okay. And you will see a screen like this. Okay. Any problems about this? Okay, so if you have problems, you can stop me anytime. Okay, if not, then we can move on. Okay, because this is a very simple introduction to R. But our final goal is to run some machine learning algorithm. But first of all, we need to build up a system for us to run. So this is a very introductory level. But just make sure you can just set everything ready for the future codings. Okay, so it's very important for you to set up RStudio ready. Okay, so if you don't have any problems, then we can move on to RStudio. You know the R. Let me just give you a very short introduction about this screen. Basically, RStudio is composed of 4 parts here. Okay, so you can see my screen here. On the top left-hand side block here is the codings, which means we have just created a new file. Okay, and the file is untitled because I haven't saved any file here. When you press enter, you will create many blank lines accordingly. Okay, when you move down to the lower part here, we can see there are 3 screens here. On the left hand side is the console. In the center we have terminal. Okay, on the left hand side, in the right hand side is jobs. Okay, but most of the time we can just stay in the console screen here because it is the output about scripts. When you run our scripts here, you will see the results. Okay, so for example, like let me just type a very simple very simple script. For example, like a equals to 2. Okay, then okay. So for example, I'm taking the square root of 2 and specify this value to a. Okay. So I specify a equals to square root 2 and I type a again, which means I need to show the result of a. Okay. So if you want to execute this line of code, there are many ways to do that. One way is to put a cursor in this line. Okay, put the cursor in this line, any place, that will be fine. And then you go to the run here. Okay, there is a run button, and you just click here. Okay, when you click this run, you can see the output screen in the bottom here, which should be in the console screen. Okay, you can see a equals to square root. Okay, if there's no any error message or warning message, okay, then the screen will be fine. They'll be perfect. Okay, and then another way to run this line of code, okay, is put the cursor any place in this line, and you press the fast key, Control Enter. Okay, you can also use Control Enter. So we can add some comments here. Okay. So this is what we are doing. You can press Control Enter to run the line of code. This is a fast key, okay? This is just fast key, don't worry. But if you forget the fast key, that will be fine. You can just press run, okay? And then I type another A. I just want to show the value of A. But of course, if you notice the left and right hand side screen here, yeah, let me jump a little bit. On your left, in your right hand side, on the top of the screen, you can see there are 4 sub windows. But first one is environment. Environment will show a list of variables created in your screen, in your script, okay? So we've just created a variable called A, okay? And A is the variable saved in your environment, okay? So that will be the value of A. But if you want to see the value of A here, okay, so let's go to the left hand side. You can also press run. Okay, you can press run, and you can see A value is shown up here, but it just shows the 6-digit after decimal point. Okay, it's not completely shown, but here you can see more complete values here. But the problem is that we didn't specify the precision of the number of the values in our environment. So we just show the first 6-digit after decimal point. Okay, but it doesn't matter, because in the computer the variable A is saved as the largest precision decimal values. Okay, so that's about the R coding. Okay, so very basic, but sometimes we'll see different symbols. Okay, sometimes if you can see we will use a symbol less plus dash. Okay, and for example, like let me just assign 5 to variable B. Okay, so this is the same as equal sign. Okay, but most of the time you will see people in R using this symbol. Okay, less plus symbol plus dash. Okay, so we can use this to specify values to left hand side. Okay, we can use this. Okay, so there is a fast key, and you can just fast key Alt Enter. Sorry. Just a minute, let me just check. B equals to got sorry, let me just structure value. Let me just change the screen first because maybe some of you are not familiar with the screen. So I just shrinking the font size here. Okay, maybe I should make it larger. Okay, so let me jump a little bit further. Let's go to the tool. Let's go to the option, global option here. And usually when we try to change the appearance, we can use this function. We go to the appearance, then we can go to the zoom here. Okay. So because I just changed the zoom, so I'm gonna fix it now. And then usually I like to use the font. I like to change the font, and I like to see a larger font. So I'm gonna choose 14 here. Okay, so that'll be better. And then usually I like to change the background color. So I'm gonna change to vibrant ink. The default value is this one. Okay, the white background, but now I'm gonna use the vibrant ink. Okay, so I'm gonna use this. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, let me change Alt dash. Okay, not Alt, Enter. Okay, so now I'm gonna specify b equals to 5. Okay, so this is a fast key, and we're gonna use this fast key quite a lot. So just keep this in your mind. But of course, I suggest you to write it down. Yeah, Alt dash. Okay, and you can see this. So let's press enter. Okay, now you can see we have value assigned to B. Okay. So any problem about this? Okay, there's a fast key to clean the console here. We call Control L. Okay, so maybe you can just memorize the fast key. Fast key to clean console. Control plus L. Okay. But if you want to execute this fast key, make sure you move your cursor to the console. So for example, like, let's run this. Okay. So now if we want to clear the console here, let's just push cursor in the console screen. Then we just press Control L, and everything will be gone. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to make it larger, but and, just a minute, just a minute. Okay, so I'm trying to make it larger, but let me just fix it using tools here. Appearance, let me just make it larger, 125. Okay, so that will be better. Okay, so if you have done this, and then we can move on one step further to the library. So here is important step for you. If you want to download, let me finish the description of the screen. This is the environment. Let's go to the right hand side here. The environment, we have history. Okay, history would record the command you typed and the output you type here. So it's just a historical record, and this is about the connection. If we need to build the connection with the cloud, then we probably need to use this. But now we don't have a chance to use that. But maybe this week or next week, if we have our AWS cloud service ready, then we can build our connection with Amazon, okay, Amazon cloud service. Then we can save our files directly on the cloud, okay. Then we have tutorial here, but most of the time we will check the environment, okay, quite a lot. And down here, you can see here, okay, down here we have files, plots, and packages, okay. So let's go to the file system here, okay. So this is the file in your computer, okay. So, and you can just go to the next one, plot, okay. That will be the place to show you a plotting. And then the package. Package is the most important thing, you have to know, because we have, most of the time we need to load up packages. Okay, and this is a menu for you to manage your packages. And then help and the viewer, okay. Okay, so here we have a short description about this, and then we need to go to the library. First of all, we need to install packages. Okay, and just make it larger. I think I should make it larger here. Okay, let me show you just how to install packages. The command that you have to know, you have to use is called install.packages. Okay, and the package we're gonna use is, the first one will be tidyverse. Okay, so we just use tidyverse. Okay. So let me just make some comments here. So what is tidyverse for? Why we have to use package tidyverse? Okay, the tidyverse is very important because it includes many instruments and tools for us to clean up the data or to manage the data. Okay, so most of the time when we start working on machine learning, the first step is to be able to clean up the data, because when we import data, when we collect the data from the source, we do have many redundant data or any value not available data, or the unnecessary data included in our table. So we need to clean up the data. So there are many useful functions for us to do that. And besides that, we can even do some calculations based on our data. Okay, so it's very important. So if we want to install packages, we can use install.package directly. Okay, this is one way to do that. So to run this, then we can just click run. Okay, now you can see when I try to install package tidyverse, in the console screen, you will see the many packages have also downloaded and installed. Okay, so even we just installed one package, the RStudio will install other related packages in the same time. So you can see there are many other packages have been installed in the same time. Okay, so maybe we have to wait for a while. It sometimes depends on your computer's speed, and sometimes it depends on the internet speed. But you have to wait for a while for the process to be completed. Okay, so in my computer, it shows the downloaded source package. Downloaded source packages are in the directory C, but don't worry about that. That means you have just downloaded all the required packages. Okay. Sometimes we'll see additional command. Okay. Sometimes we'll see this command, install package tidyverse dependencies equals to true. Okay. What does that mean? That means if we want to install one package like tidyverse, some packages like tidyverse will be dependent on other install packages. But if those packages are not installed on your computer, that means you have to install those packages in the same time. So the dependency equals true means that other dependent packages will be installed in the same time. Okay, so sometimes you will see this kind of command on the internet. Okay, no problem. The computer will do the same thing. Okay, so usually we will issue dependency equal to true. So that will be more efficient, because if in the future when you run some dependent functions coming from other packages, you won't see error message. So it will be better for you to do that. Okay. Okay, so if you have done this, then we can move on. But basically, you can see some important package has been loaded up too. There are some important package imported here. I'm gonna show you some important packages. For example, like dprior, ggplot2. Okay, and is it tbow? Okay, and those are important packages in data analysis. So in the same time, those packages, 4 packages here, tbow, dprior, ggplot, and the per. Okay, so tbow is an important package for you to organize and display your data in a sensible way. Okay, which means you can show your data in a friendly table. Okay, so tbow is important, and dprior is important package for you to manipulate and subset your data. And of course, ggplot2 is a very famous package in R. If you want to plot your data in a beautiful way, okay, then you have to use ggplot2. And then we have per. Per is also important if you want to do your data in looping. So for example, like we want to do our data analysis or do some calculation repeatedly, which means we have to use looping in our data analysis, then we have to use per. Okay, so all those 4 packages are important. And actually, when we try to install the tidyverse, all those 4 packages have been automatically installed. So you can check to see if those packages has been installed or not. So let's check the dprior. Okay, so you can see the dprior here. Okay, so you can see the dprior. Okay, so it's here. And then about the ggplot2. Okay. Okay, you can see the ggplot2 here. Okay. So what about the box on the left-hand side? On the left side of the package, why some boxes are checked and why some are not? That means even though you have installed the package in your system, but if you did not check the box, that means those packages are not available for you to use. Okay, even though you have installed the package in your computer, but you have to call up the package. If you want to call up the package, then you have to check the box beside it. So for example, like if I want to use ggplot, then I have to check the box here. Okay, when I check the box, then you will see a command automatically be generated. It's called library ggplot2. Okay, now you can understand when you wanna use the specific package, you have to load out the package. Okay, so how to load a package? You can use library. Okay. So let's say library ggplot2. Okay. So this is for one. But if you want to load up all those packages, you have to type names separately, or library dplyr. Okay. Or you can just use dplyr. Tidier. Okay, you have to do this. Okay. But why bother doing this? Since we are using tidyverse, okay, actually when we load up the tidyverse, all dependent packages will be loaded up in the same time. So don't worry, we don't have to do this one by one. We can just use library tidyverse, and that's done. So when we load up the tidyverse, all those packages related to tidyverse will be loaded in the same time. Okay, so let's see. When we load up the tidyverse, we press library tidyverse. Okay, when you load up the tidyverse, then you will see all those packages are automatically loaded up. So you can see attaching packages like table, tidier, reader, per. Yeah, some of them are not so important, but all those related or dependent packages have been loaded up automatically. So we don't have to repeat everything one by one. Okay, so you can try to load up the tidyverse. Any problem about the installation of packages? If you have problems, you can stop me. Okay, so when we load up the tidyverse, then we can just try some functions provided by the tidyverse or provided by other packages. For example, now we can just create a very simple case. Yeah, I'm using the example from the textbook of machine learning using tidyverse. I also posted reference in my PPT, so you can check the book. But anyway, this is a very simple example. Now we're gonna show you creating tables with table function. Okay. This is a very simple example. But talking about the tables, maybe some of you will have to know the data frame. You know, the data frame is a very traditional variable or data format to store the values or to store data in R. So the traditional format we call data frame, but now we are using table more and more because table is more flexible and is more is more accessible to the data. Is more accessible to data than data frame. Okay, so we're using table more and more. So let's say we can create a table here. Okay, so when you type tables, when you type table, there is some help menu here. You can see the table here, and then In the box here, you can see the rows, names, etc. But here we just focus on very simple example. Let's say we try to x equals to 1 through 4, okay? And y equals to, yeah, I'm following the example in the textbook. London, Beijing, yeah, to be consistent, I'm gonna use double quote. Actually, if you're using single quote, that'll be fine. Las Vegas. Berlin. Okay. Now we can see here, we are creating two variables in our data. X equals to 1 through 4, and Y is London, Beijing, Las Vegas, Berlin. Okay. So when we execute this command, we'll see a table has been created. The first column is X, which is integer. The second column is character, which is London, Beijing, Las Vegas, Berlin. Okay. What if we are trying to create a data frame? Let's just change a little bit. Okay, now you can see the difference. The second example is data frame. We are creating a result called data frame. Okay, so let me specify the result. My table 1. Okay, and the second one is my df. Okay. So now you can see the first one is my table. So let's specify my table. And second one is data frame. So what's the difference between these two variables? My table and my data frame. Okay, so let's see my data frame here. My table, and this is my df. Okay, so you can see my df. It just shows you the column, okay, x and y. It didn't show any information for each column, okay, but you can see the table here. It shows the type of variables, okay, integer and the character. But what about the type of variable for the data in my df? Okay. Yeah, another way to check the data is you can also go to data here. You can see difference. You can just click the variable and you will see the results. But most of the time we don't have to check the data in this way. Okay, so let me just close it here. Okay. So table is more contains more is more informational. Okay, you can know the type of character, type of variables for each column. Okay, we have x variable and y variables. Okay, but for df, we don't have anything for that. Okay, so if you want to check the data type, maybe we can just use a function called structure. Okay. Okay, if you check the structure, if you're using the structure str, okay, then you will see the data inside here. Okay, we have x and y. X is integer 1, 2, 3, 4, and y is London. Okay, and the end of character. Then this is another way to check your data structure. Okay. Okay. So the difference between data frame and the table is that when we type the table here, you can see it shows the information, okay, of the dimension, which is 4 by 2, and the type of variables for each column. But for my DF, it shows nothing. It just shows X and Y, okay? So the table will show you dimension of the variable, okay? Besides that, table will tell you type of variable, each variable. Each column. Okay, so that's the advantage. Okay, so maybe you can convert a data frame into tables. Okay, so that's very easy. So if you want to convert data frame to table, then you can just use us underscore table. Okay, and this is my DF. Okay. So if you want to convert your data, for example, like data frame to table, then you can just use us underscore table, and it works. Okay, any problem about this so far?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I want to ask the red for the function.
About what? Sorry.
The format for table function. It says that x equals to 1 until 4, and y is equals to c. What does c means? Is it char or
Oh,
column?
yeah, that's a good question. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, C means combine or concatenate, or a string of a series of characters. So that means C is a function working like combined together. So we are combining the element specified within the bracket together. Okay, so C means combining or concatenate or something like that. Okay. So we'll use C. Okay, but it's a very it's very standard function if you want to combine a lot of elements together. But this is not about the string combination. Okay, it just shows you within the bracket we have, for example, in this case we have 4 elements here, and each elements will corresponds to the values in x. Okay, because we are using 1 x equals 1 through 4 and y equals to 4 cities names. Okay, so we are using 4 city names to correspond to x values. So C actually is concatenate this to be a series of data. Okay. So thank you for your question. Yeah, this is a very interesting question. Yeah. But this is my interpretation. Yeah, because I have checked this meaning of the C in the past. I didn't quite remember very well, but as I, according to my memory, I remember C should be the meaning like that. Okay. Okay. Thanks for your question. Okay, so then we have some other issues, but of course, when we talk about those functions, for example, like table, data frame, and of course, in the future, we're gonna see some different data types. Okay, like time series data, we have to handle the date. Okay, that's another issue, another more complicated issue. But now we don't need to worry about that. Okay, but like I mentioned, tables is just a way to show the information about data. Okay, but table cannot change the data. Okay, it just provides a good way to show the information of the data. But we cannot convert the data types by tables. Okay, unless we supply additional commands. Okay, so that's very important for you to know. So for example, like if you want to change your data, for example, in our form data frame here, let me just copy this. So for example, like if we want to change data type, okay, we can change data type by additional command. Okay, so for example, in this case, I just using the same data command, data frame command, and we want to change the data type. Okay, we can use string as factor. Okay, what is string as factors? That means sometimes we need to convert string variables to factors. Okay, so if we set up the string as factors, we can use this. So for example, like we change string to as factors to true. Okay, okay, we can just use string as factors to be true. Let's check the results. Okay, so let's check the structure of my df1. Okay, let's check. Let's run this again. Okay, now you can see the difference. A difference here. We can see the data frame. We have x integer, but now you can see we have a y variable has been converted into factors. Okay, with 4 levels. Okay, we have Beijing, Berlin, etc. Okay, so now it's been converted to factors. Okay, that applies to table. Okay, so we can also use string as factors equals true in table, and we can change the to factors here. Okay, so let's see how to convert that into table vector. Let me just Okay, but for table here, there is a more efficient way to do that. If we want to convert y variable into factors, we can just add this factor directly in front of the C function. Okay, so that means we can just include. Okay, we can just include the C function. We can just include C function inside the factor function. Okay, so that can create. Let me call this my table 1. They can create a y variable as a factor. Okay, so let's check my table 1. Okay, now you can see the table here. You can see y column shows factor, FCT is factor. Okay, so that's a different way to change the data type. Okay, any question about this? Okay, so if you want to save the file, maybe we can do this. So we can just go to the file and save the file. Save as. Okay. But usually we don't need to change anything here. We just use the system's default. Okay. Just show this. Okay. And then we just save in our default function here. Okay, how about this? We call this chapter 2. Okay. Okay, when you save the file, make sure that you just type it in, and if you don't type anything after dot, you can the RStudio will generate chapter 2.r for you automatically. Okay, so but if you want to type .r, that will be fine, because default setup for R coding is .r. Okay, but if you don't type .r, that will be fine. So either way works. Let's save it. Oh, what happened? Okay, we got it. So you can see here, the file name has been changed, chapter 2.r. Okay, so that's how we save the file. Okay. By the way, we still have some time to show you a different file format, and this file format has been used quite a lot. Okay. If we, for example, if we go to the file, we can go to new file, and you can see there are a lot of different file format, but there's a great file format we call R Markdown. You can open it. Okay, why we have to use R Markdown? Because this file is accessible through website. So it means we can create a web page for the R Markdown. So you can see there are 3 options down below: HTML, PDF, and Word. Okay, of course you can just specify the title of the file and the author, whatever. Okay, but we can just leave the default value here, HTML, and we can click OK. Okay, now you can see the template is created here. Okay, actually the template is just an example to show you how to write our Markdown file. So everything is the same, but you don't have to do anything right now, okay? But if you want to execute a specific block of the coding, you can click, you can press run current chunk, okay? Yes, the first chunk is just initial setup. So you don't have to, you won't see anything special here. Let's see, run. Okay. And then follows the other commands. For example, like this is a very basic command. Okay. Double. We have a special sign here. It shows the title of the R Markdown. Okay. It will enlarge the font and convert it to a title. And then we have the details. And if you want to show the URL, you can just use a smaller sign and the bigger sign, okay? And you put the URL inside it, and you can convert it into URL, okay? And then you can see the double star here, okay? So that means this is a function, okay? And you can click this button, okay, to show the results. So this is a very basic setup. If you want to know more about the setup, I suggest you to go to the Google. I'm going to show you here. Okay, so you can just type cheat sheet. Sorry. Or R Markdown. Cheat sheet for R Markdown. I should, yeah, R Markdown cheat sheet. And you can download the latest version because here I see it's 2015. I think we should find the latest version here. I think it'll be better. Yeah, okay. I'm down 2018, 2020. Wow. It's not available here. I don't know what's wrong with this, but I'm down 2020. Okay, never mind. I think maybe I can't find the latest version, but I think 2018 is enough. Shit. Okay, this is our Markdown cheat sheet. So you can see there are many guidelines and help for you to choose the options from the menu. Okay, but of course we don't have so much time to cover our Markdown here, especially in our course. So this is not our focus. But if you're interested in this part, you can just read the manuals and try to execute the commands provided here. Yeah, you can try. But let me just finish this first. So, for example, if we have finished all this, and how can we generate the website, web page, okay, based on our Markdown? So first of all, let's just save the file first. Save it first, and then let's just use test R Markdown. Okay, and let's save it. Okay, maybe you will notice that when you save the R Markdown here, the file has been added a subscript .rmd. Okay, it's automatically generated and it's treated as a R Markdown file. Okay, so if you saved it and you can just run the file. Okay, so we don't need to run the file, we need to use neat. Okay, so use neat here, neat the current document. Okay, when you need the document, you will see the web page like this. Okay, untitled R Markdown, and you see the URL, you see the need here. Okay, and this is a result automatically generated. So whenever you want to run R codings and you want to generate your results to be a web page, you can use this way to do that. Okay, but even though you generate your output to be a web page, how come the other people can see your web page through internet? So that means you have to publish your web page to the internet, right? So we need a platform to publish our web page. Fortunately, RStudio has provided this website for us. So we go to the top in your right hand side, we have a publish function here. You can just click here, publish. Okay, so when you click the publish, it shows publishing current requires updated version of the foreign package. Okay, so do you want to install this package now? We click yes. Okay, maybe we have to wait for a while. Okay, when it's done, then you will see two functions here. You have to choose the first one because first one is a public web free service provided by RStudio. So you have to click RPops, and then you have to click publishing. And it shows some information that you have to fill. If you don't have account in RPops, you have to create one. But because I already have account there, so it shows my default email address and the password, and I just sign here. And then I can just type a title for the document, okay? But you can type anything you like. You can even type some description for your file, but I just leave it empty because this is testing file. So it shows down below, it shows the website address. You have to specify a name for this. So for example, like let me use the file. Okay, this is the test file created on 2021 January 28. Okay, so let's press continue. Okay, then it's done. That's the output you have created, and it can be accessed by internet. Okay, if you want someone to see your results, you can just copy your address here and send it to your friends, okay, or teachers. For example, I like to check my students' homework or examination through this website, and they have to show all their codings and their results on the website so that they don't have to send the entire codings to me. I can save a lot of time checking their codes, so they'll be more convenient. Okay. So that's what we have done here. So any questions about this? Any questions about this? Okay, so probably it's about the time of the end of our session this morning. If you have questions, you can mail me or text me. Maybe we can just let me check. Okay, so I'm okay. So then we'll see you in the afternoon, right? Okay. So bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Udah selesai dah. Nanti sore lagi. Tahu jam berapa? Ya, aku bawa laptop ke rumah JB nanti mau praktikum. Sampai jam berapa? Enggak sampai sore lah, paling sampai jam 3.